Hello and welcome. In this lesson, we will learn to solve quadratic systems algebraically using elimination. In our last lesson, we learned to solve through substitution. So we would substitute part of one equation into another equation and then solve for one variable. If you have one equation, if you have one variable, you can use one equation. If you have two variables, you need two equations. So in this system of equations, we have x and y. We need two systems in order to solve that. In elimination, what we're going to try to do is either add or subtract one equation from the other in order to eliminate one of the variables, and then we just have one equation and one variable, and we can solve that and then go back and find the value for the other variable. So in this case, this first equation, we've got 3x squared plus 3x plus y equals 6. And we've got 3x plus y equals negative 6. And so we're going to take this second equation and subtract it from the first. I'm going to rewrite it so we can see what it looks like. So the top equation doesn't change. 3x squared plus 3x plus y equals 6. And then we have to distribute this minus sign throughout each term in this whole equation. So 3x becomes, let's change the color on that. 3x becomes minus 3x. Y becomes minus y, and minus 6, negative 6 becomes plus 6, or just 6. And then we go through and we cancel. 3x minus 3x, those are opposites of each other, so they cancel. Y and minus y, opposite, so they cancel. 6 and 6 are both the same, so that's 6 plus 6, which is 12. And then we have 3x squared. And then here we have a few different options. I think we'll solve this by taking square root. So we want to get the x squared part alone. We divide both sides by 3. And we get x squared equals 4. We then take the opposite of squaring is taking the square root. So we take the square root, remembering to add plus or minus. So we get x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 4, which would be 2. We then want to go back and substitute each of those, plus 2 and minus 2, into one of these equations to get the values of y. So I'm going to say 3. Let's first take the x equals positive 2. 3 times 2 plus y equals negative 6. And 3 times 2 is 6. Plus y equals negative 6. Subtract 6 from both sides. And y equals negative 12. So one of our solutions is 2, negative 12. And then if we take x equals negative 2, put that in for x, that gives us 3 times negative 2 plus y equals negative 6. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 plus y equals negative 6. So then add 6 to both sides to cancel the 6 on the left. And then negative 6 plus 6 is 0, so y equals 0. And so the other solution is negative 2, comma, 0 for y. And so those two sets of ordered pairs are the solution. We look at the next example. Negative 3x squared minus 3x plus y equals negative 6. 2x squared plus 2x plus y equals 4. And I want to look at that fact that y and y, those are the same. We want to create a scenario where they're the opposite of each other, and that's going to be done by subtracting this bottom equation, creating this negative y, and so those will cancel. So, again, I'm going to change colors. And I'll just mentally this time remember to distribute that negative through each of those. So negative 3x squared minus 2x squared becomes minus 5x squared. Negative 3x minus 2x, after you've distributed the negative, negative 3x minus 2x becomes minus 5x. Y minus y, those cancel. And negative 6 minus 4 gives us negative 10. And so then I'm going to add 10 to the right side and to the left side to give us 0 so that we can solve this through factoring. So we're going to get negative 5x squared minus 5x plus 10. And the first thing I want to do is, I think I'm going to go through and divide everything, since negative 5, and 10 are all multiples of 5. I'm going to divide by negative 5. To eliminate that first leading coefficient. So negative 5 divided by negative 5 leaves x squared. Negative 5 divided by negative 5, that would be plus x. And then 10 divided by negative 5 would give us negative 2 equals 0. And then we can factor this. So we're going to set up a couple of parentheses, x and x. And then we're looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 2 that combine to 1. So I'm going to put 2 and 1. And put the positive on the 2, the negative on the 1. Negative 1 times positive 2 would be negative 2. And negative 1 times positive 2, negative 1 plus 2 would give us positive 1, which is the same as this plus x here. And then that's equal to 0. So here, x plus 1, x minus 1 equals 0. Adding 1 to both sides gives us that x equals 1, because 1 minus 1 is 0. And then on the other side, or x plus 2 equals 0. Subtracting 2 from both sides would give us x equals negative 2. So now we have our two values for x. We're going to substitute back in to find the corresponding value of y. Let's first do x equals 1. Since I could choose either the top or the bottom, I'm going to choose the bottom just because it looks like it might be a little easier. So 2 times x squared, which would be 1 squared, plus 2 times 1 plus y equals 4. And 1 squared is 1, so that's 2 times 1 is 2. And then 2 times 1, again, 2, plus y equals 4. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus y equals 4. And then subtracting 4 from both sides give us y equals 0. So one of our solutions is the ordered pair 1, 0. And then if we put in x equals negative 2, we'll go ahead and use the same equation. 2 times negative 2 squared plus 2 times negative 2 plus y equals 4. And negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, times 2 is 8, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 plus y equals 4. 8 minus 4 is 4 plus y equals 4. Then subtracting 4 from both sides, once again we see y equals 0. And so our other solution is at the ordered pair negative 2, comma 0. And both of those these ordered pairs are our solution. All right, if we go to the next example, this time we have 2x squared plus 4x equals y plus 7. And on the bottom, x squared plus 2x equals y minus 1. And again, I think here what we'll do is focus on these right here, that y and y, one's not the opposite of the other. If one was negative, if one of these y's were negative, then I could just add the equation to the other equation and it would cancel those out. But since they're equal, they're the same, we're going to subtract either the top or the bottom from the other. And let's just go ahead and subtract the bottom from the top. So I'm going to take the whole equation and just subtract it, creating a negative for each one, or the opposite sign for each term on there. And I'm just going to keep track of that. So 2x squared minus x squared is x squared. 4x minus 2x is 2x equals y minus y. Those cancel each other out. And 7 minus negative 1, subtracting negative 1 becomes plus 1, so 7 plus 1 is 8. We then would write this as a quadratic in standard form. X squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. I subtracted 8 from this side and from this side, so leaving minus 8 here and leaving 0 over here. Then I want to factor. So again, x, and then two numbers that multiply to give negative 8 that combine to give 2. So I'm going to say 4 times 2 is 8. Positive 4 and negative 2. Positive on the 4 because the middle term 2x is positive, and negative 2 times positive 4 is negative 8, and 4 plus negative 2 is the positive 2. So then we set each of one of these factors equal to 0. X minus 2 equals 0, or x plus 4 equals 0. Adding 2 to both sides on this left equation gives us x is equal to 2. And just to check real quick, 2 minus 2 is 0, yes. And then subtracting 4 from both sides over here gives us x is equal to negative 4. Once again with the check, negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So then we need to just find what are the values of y that corresponds to each of these values of x. So we say x equals 2. I'm going to put it in the bottom equation, again, just because it looks simpler to me. 2 squared instead of x squared plus 2 times x, or 2 times 2, equals y minus 1. 2 squared is 4, plus 2 times 2, which is 4, equals y minus 1. 4 plus 4 is 8, is equal to y minus 1. And adding 1 to both sides, we get 9 equals y. So one of our solutions is at 2 in x and 9 in y. And then do the same thing here for x equals negative 4. Negative 4 squared plus 2 times negative 4 equals y minus 1. A negative times a negative is positive, so negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, so that's 16 minus 8 is equal to y minus 1. 16 minus 8 is 8, which is equal to y minus 1, and then adding 1 to both sides. Once again, we get y equals 9. So the other solution is at negative 4, 9. Now we could check these graphically. We started this unit by solving systems graphically. But in order to do so, we need to make sure that we had this solved for y. And so this top equation would be y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 7. And then the next one down would be y equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then we can put it in a graphing calculator or like Desmos. I'm going to use Desmos. So we get 2x squared plus 4x minus 7 and then the next one would be x squared plus 2x plus 1, x squared plus 2x plus 1, and then I can zoom out and look at these two parabolas, how they come together. I can zoom in about the point where they appear to intersect, click on them, and those points intersection just come out. And then if I hover over my cursor over those points, it tells me what the points are. This one's at 2, 9, and this one's at negative 4, 9. And just like that, we see (2, 9) and negative 4, 9 are our solutions. Now, take this moment to go and practice, do some of the homework problems. Come to the meeting if you need help. If you're struggling, remember you can reach me. Wait, let's use a marker for that. At 801-413-3363. If you're working on these, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and ask for some help. Have a great day. Good luck.